I'm hoping we get Zach in here to run things. So
Did you talk to him?
Get another meeting. What?
Did you talk to Zach?
I mean, not since last week.
But was he going to join? I can pin him.
There he is. Yeah. Oh, people keep trying to walk into the room I claim too. Popular space all of a sudden.
Are you in LA? Where are you? Also, hi.
I'm in.
Oh, okay. That explains it.
Yeah. I like to jump out of a meeting, and I'm going to need to ditch you guys in 30 minutes here if we're still going. But
Oh. Hello. Can you hear me now?
there you are. I assume that was Kier asking if we could hear him.
Yeah.
Cool. It's the 13th today. Yeah, okay. So I don't know. Were you expecting anyone else, guys, or is this it? Everyone's very quiet. I guess this is it. Well, I created this meeting and sent out an email. Just going from the action items from last time, I created this meeting and sent an email, so that got done. I don't know if we have tickets in Redmine yet. Did that happen here? Do you know, or did you see those, Zach, or anything? Yeah, I guess
I actually don't know.
Let's see. Tracker.ceph.com. Projects. Duthology. Oh, it is terrible because I'm looking at the mobile view. Do all
Oh
issues.
no.
Updated. I think tickets did not get created since there are no new ones. Okay, so we're still waiting on that. I did see one PR came in. Hooray! We merged a PR. Also, wow, this video is not working great. Did it turn off while I was using my web browser on the side there?
I think so. I think when you switch to application, it turns off video.
Oh, I thought it kept going if I used multitasking, but I guess it doesn't work with BlueJeans. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, still waiting on tickets. Saw PR go in. We were supposed to think about testing options. I don't know. Zach, did you have any thoughts, or that wasn't a very concrete thing, but that was the other thing on the list, I think.
I haven't had a whole lot of time to think about it. Well, in the last week, I've definitely thought about it in the last, couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, I guess one way to look at this is so Luik's old OpenStack backend has some, or at least some theoretical ability to run self-tests in an ephemeral lab that it sets up for itself. I don't personally really love the idea of moving in the direction of like using the OpenStack backend more than it is being used. But I'm really curious about trying to use the libcloud one for something like that.
So I think last week you talked about trying to maybe just merge the patches SUSE has for the OpenStack backend, and then we can and having a simultaneous effort to try and move to libcloud. So
yeah, so
just
I
rely
I
on
still
the
I still
OpenStack
kind of
backend to
like.
do its own testing.
What was that?
So maybe we should just rely on the OpenStack backend for testing those patches, and then once we have libcloud, we like multi or like an easy setup for libcloud. We should try and test with that, or
Yeah. So I still kind of like that idea. What I'll say about the OpenStack backend and getting patches in. I'm not sure how many other users there are of it. I'm not aware of like anyone on our side that's using it. So yeah, submit patches. Let's get them in. As long as they're not, uh, like guaranteed to break other people that might be using it. I don't see a whole lot of issues. Eventually, I think that backend will probably die, hopefully, so we can all use one. But if it makes it easier, for SUSE, then yeah, we should get those patches in master. I'd love to look at them.
yeah.
And
Kier, does that sound good to you?
Who are you asking?
here,
Kier from
Oh.
SUSE.
So
Maybe we lost
this is actually that we were talking last meeting. So we try and apply our patches and then move forward with trying to switch to libcloud.
Yeah, I think mostly. I guess because
So-
I saw one PR go by. Maybe I missed some. But it did
Yeah,
go in.
it was only one PR.
Yeah.
I've been busy with other stuff, but
Okay.
there's a couple of. I'm just in the middle of reviewing the patches because they are not easy to merge, as obviously.
Yeah.
So and some of the new issues that I'm trying to fix, like. Do you guys have troubles with workers on tautology? So it's if there is one bug new that I faced, I figured out the reason of this week. It's when if the job is quitting by timeout, then there is unhandled exception occurs in worker and it's die.
oh,
And I've checked the upstream master, and there is no patch for this yet. So it's so I gonna to create APR for this issue.
okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with the problem you're describing. I think it's not hitting us in our lab, but yeah, I'll be curious to see a patch.
So I'm just in short. It's very small patch, I think, because it's just the you know the it tries to nuke the round, and it's the job. I mean, and it's the exception about the kill method can find the owner, can detect owner.
Wait, it can't find
I
what?
don't know. Owner. Owner of a job.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know why you do not experience this. Probably because you have no timeouts, or you are working on separate job.
We definitely like machines timeout. We don't really see that happening, and maybe that there's a difference in the backends that wasn't supposed to be there.
Not machines timeout, but job.
Yeah.
So, like I saw a job time.
That does happen for us, and the workers don't die. So, I mean, it sounds like a bug. Maybe it's just only a bug that affects the way that you're using it. So
I'm just curious if you have separate, branch where the patch for this issue exists already.
If you don't see it in master, then we're not running it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That'll be good to fix. Okay. But yeah, I think so. Yeah, from last week, the action items were for the tickets in Redmine, which it looks like aren't there yet, and like we just want to get some more PRs in so we can all get into the flow of actually dealing with PRs and see where the weaknesses are happening.
Yeah.
In that practice. So we had one was.
Oh.
So
Sorry, I lost myself in the middle there. I'm back. But yeah, I think we want to see more PRs and get the tickets in, and then we can figure out what the rough patches are in that process.
I can kind of anticipate one thing. I don't look at the list of PRs every day. So if you just want to assign me to things that you want me to look at, I'll see them quicker.
So I put some comment requesting help update for the patch about locking resources that Yuzak mentioned last meeting. And have you seen this question, or should I assign it somehow on you?
I don't think I've seen it.
Is it better to poke you in a chat instead of waiting a response on PRs on GitHub?
It might be, yeah. Let's see, which PR are we talking about?
That PR that you've been working on locking VMs, hardware.
Okay.
Oh, right.
I did not see any question.
It's PR 1051 in Toothology.
Yeah, just adding a new nodes description instead roles using nodes in YAML config. I'm just wondering, why do we need extra node configuration if we can reuse roles? Like extend this format to be more flexible. So if you have an array, it will take rows. If we have a dictionary, it takes some more complicated configuration per node.
So that was the idea there. Oh, so sorry. Your question is.
So the current status is, implementation of this patch is regarding that we do not take rows, we use nodes.
Right.
So and under record nodes, we treat all elements of array as some structure with specification of the nodes, requirements instead of rows. And someone commented that, hey guys, just don't use rules if nodes record exists in the config, and vice versa. But my question is, why should we use it? Should we use two different records if we can use everything in one row? So each element of the rows array is array of rows actually. But what if we check if this element is array, then we treat it as a array of rows. If the element is a dictionary, then we treat it as a node config. So we we use everything in one place.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Let's see. I mean, maybe that would work just fine. Oh.
Also, I have an idea. Is we can extend this format to support, enumerations or sequence definition for the rows. So instead of declaring each node by node, we can just say that it's number, let's say, 100 of nodes, and we do not need to declare every node.
Oh yeah, so adding like
or sequences, like
add like a count field or something.
Yeah, like right, count or sequence. So sequence can be used as enumeration, some particular numbers or letters.
Well, so one challenge with that is which roles do each of these nodes get in the Ceph cluster?
Right.
I think that's why I didn't add something like that before, because it just seemed like, okay, so the job could lock 50 nodes now, but what's it going to do with them? And
it's a good question what it's going to do. Just for example, we have some kind of use cases to test with configuration about 50 nodes or 100 nodes per cluster. Like, so as well as for performance testing. So
it sounds like you'd like to be able to tell Teuthology that you want 50 nodes, but how should Teuthology decide what to do with all of them? Do you want a way for it to just make a decision about, like, all right, I'm being asked to use 50 nodes, so I'm going to set up, X amount of OSDs and X amount of mons and stuff. Should we have logic in Teuthology that decides how to build a cluster?
Right.
And
so,
maybe I think it's an interesting idea, but I also think that it feels like a bit of a separate one, because I think most of the work is going to be in coming up with a way for Teuthology to just decide what proportions to use when building a cluster, if it's just given a block of nodes without roles.
You mean without roles?
Yeah, because so if you're not enumerating all of the nodes that you want, and you're just saying give me 50, then you're not telling it, because right now for each node in the roles stanza there, you're saying, all right, I want one node that runs 2 OSDs and a mon and a manager, and then I want another node that runs et cetera. So that's like that's the functionality that the roles mechanism provides now.
The same way, I'm just saying that it will. I mean, it should also assign roles. If I say I need 50 machines with role like OSDs, or 2 OSDs, and it will enumerate them automatically with new indexes.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but I don't know the idea why do you need the machines without roles. However, probably someone will need it.
I kind of doubt it because, well, at least as it stands now, I don't think there's anything really in Toothology that'll do very much with a machine without a role.
Yeah, because all logic is actually based on roles. I think the idea is that you name the role, you name the node, and then you ask to do something on that node. So I think the only way when we may have to have something without roles, if there is a use case when you say, I need to do something on that node, but I don't need to know what it's named.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that tautology have to support some operations on these roles. I'm saying about only assignment of role names. So the test itself should define what it's going to do with roles. So the test logic could actually be aware about a different amount of machines with particular roles.
Yeah. So if today one of us decided to write a new Toothology task, we could come up with whatever role name we wanted to use. Say like the task runs some tests on an existing cluster, for example. You can just define a new role to use for the tests that you want to run. So for example, I have it's still in progress, but I have some tests for Ceph metrics, which is our monitoring piece for Ceph for now at least. And the Toothology task that I use, I think the node that it runs, that it deploys the dashboard on, is just called Ceph metrics. I could be wrong, but something like that works. There's no part of Toothology that cares about that will reject roles that you use if they don't match a certain list, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so. and that's something I think we need to maintain. That's going to be important.
Yeah, that's not going to go away.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So did anyone have other stuff that wasn't the action items from last week? I noticed we have a couple new people. Welcome, Ali, and is that Tatiana? I hope I'm saying that right.
Yes, Tatiana is right.
I don't know if you guys had anything specific you were hoping to learn about joining, or if you just want to see what we were doing. But we're actually there are several people missing who have been here in the last week or two. So we vary in size a bit, but
it's okay to have a slightly different group every week.
Yeah, I'm glad to see new people. So if you've got anything you want to talk about, go for it.
John, you want to go ahead? Nope. I had one quick thing I wanted to talk about. Has Orit come in here and talk to you guys about her VStart Toothology runner thing?
No, this is like the third time we've done this, so.
Okay. Well, in that case, last summer, Radislaw started doing some work on running Toothology tasks, specifically related to the RGW, outside of Toothology with VStart, just like in a dev environment.
Yeah, this is based on John's file system VStart runner, right?
Maybe. I really haven't looked into the origin story of it. Orit built on it some more, and I played around with it last week, and it works. The pull request for that is right here. I guess the first thing I have to say is, is there any further work you guys would be interested in doing with that? I'll shoot my instructions in that PR as well for the small use case that it works for so far. I think it only works for the RGW task, or it only works for testing S3 tests and testing the RGW admin suite. And the other thing I wanted to ask was, my outreachy student has been doing some Toothology task development, and I think she picked up whatever she needed to pick up from the other tasks that she looked at. Do we have any docs for developing or writing Toothology tasks? or do you think there's any need for any?
I think we don't have like a sort of like a guide style doc for that. No, I think it'd be pretty cool if we did, because there are a few different approaches you could take, and I think some have a bit more merit than others at this point in time. So yeah, no, we don't have it, but I would love it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking some time out of my time and working on that, I don't know, over the next 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. If you guys think that would be beneficial, or if you think we would be able to, I don't know how, standardize on a way to write these things, or somewhat standardize on a way to write these things, especially going forward. I know my RG student did it the new way where everything's just in one class, and then each function's like a different step of the. It's like without the decorators.
It would be wonderful, Ali. Especially if you write it in a way that Gambi like myself can understand. That would be, I think, very, very good.
So did this person use the task class?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
She did it whatever the new way was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Okay, good. So if we do put together a doc, I'd want the doc to focus on that, because it just makes your life easier as someone who's writing a task. So that would be super cool. I would definitely let's see. I'd find a way to be available to help out with that. And I'm just looking at this PR, the VStart Runner one, and I'll have to spend some time looking at it, because I think the idea is really interesting.
So
I'll do is I'll shoot you the instructions I have so far, and it should consistently run, or it should at least consistently get you the results for the 3 or 4 things it does run, which I think is awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, so I talked to Arid and Radic about that, I think maybe at DevConf earlier this year, and just at the time they said they didn't want it to merge for some reason. I don't know why. John did, I think it's based on John's work from 3 or 4 years ago he did for the file system tests, and we found that very useful in the file system, because it means we can run, Ceph QA tests not in the Teuthology, which makes it way easier to develop them. So I would definitely vote for. I mean, assuming this code is good, which I imagine it is, since people are using it, then yeah, that's something we should merge. And I would definitely encourage people to write against those APIs if they can, because like Teuthology is our test framework, and we're always going to need like a scheduling that will presumably inherit from Teuthology. But one of the problems that we've come across is just like, people who aren't the size of SUSE or Red Hat have difficulty setting up Teuthology, and they need to be able to run tests. So anything that makes our test possible to run on a local node is good.
Yeah. So we need to, one thing that I would want to see here is some kind of docs somewhere telling people how to use this.
I just put that in the PR. I said, hey, do you want me to write some kind of README up for this? But
cool.
Definitely for PR. And what I'll do is I'm going to throw the instructions, the like quick instructions I have, into that PR as well. If you want to play around with it, it should only take you, I don't know, a couple minutes of your time.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. Yeah.
That's all I have. Hopefully we can make Teuthology a little more developer friendly, or that's kind of my overall goal, is to make it a little more developer friendly over the next couple months.
Yeah.
While we're having meetings about this stuff.
Yep, I think that's the idea.
All right, so I gotta bounce for another meeting now. It sounds like maybe people are done, but if you guys want to keep talking, then go ahead. Thanks a bunch, guys. It's good to see you all.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Right.
Hey, Ali, can you stick around for a sec? I have an unrelated issue.
Oh yeah, sure. What's up?
Listen, it's probably
can you slow down for a sec?
Sure.
I just want to make sure that that we don't have anything else we want to cover here. I don't think I do, but I just want to leave that opportunity open. Does anyone have anything else they want to cover in this meeting? I'll take a look at that multi-OS PR because I haven't looked at it in like a year, and see if I can figure out where it's at. And I'll keep an eye out for the vStart Runner stuff. But here, Tatiana, did you have anything else?
No specific topic. I've been working on the Ceph dashboard, and I joined this meeting just to see if there's anything interesting for us. So no specific topic that I want to talk about.
So I haven't worked on the Ceph dashboard because what I'm working on is we're productizing something similar. We're calling it Ceph Metrics at Red Hat, and it's something that is eventually going to be merged in some way with the dashboard. But it's a Grafana and Prometheus setup with some dashboards that monitors the Ceph Manager, Prometheus module, and Prometheus node exporter. And I have some tests in Teuthology that like deploy and run some integration tests against Ceph Metrics, but I'm really not sure how we want to test the Ceph dashboard going forward. I haven't thought a whole lot about it, so I'd love to hear any thoughts that you have.
Currently, we just have some tests under the QA task directory. And yeah, these tests we are currently running for our pull requests. That's my current status.
Okay. Is there, let's see, could you point me at those? I'd like to
Yes.
about what's being run.
Yeah, one moment.
Great, thank you.
It's on the QA Tasks Manager dashboard.
Okay, I had not seen those. Yeah, I will take a look at those.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything else, so I can let you guys take over. Nice to talk to everybody.
Likewise. So we have this meeting standing on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Somehow I missed that. My invite is missing from the calendar. Can you, Zach, forward one for me, please?
Yeah, I'll send you an invite.
Thanks.
I don't think everyone at least all the Red Hat engineers or whatever got invited to it. I remember I looked at Ceph Devel on the mailing list and then like went and found the link to it or something like that. I can't remember how it is I found out about this meeting, but it was something. Yeah.
Greg sent one, I guess.
Never mind.
I'm not sure if I can add you to this for some reason. But it's on which calendar is it on? It's on the Ceph community calendar.
Ceph community. I don't even know that exists. Ceph community.
Really?
I thought it was on StorageEng, wasn't it? No?
It might also be on StorageEng, but for me, it's on Ceph community. Which is the public one. How do I share this with him? Oh, I found it. The public URL to, let me strip out my time zone from the URI, so that won't help you. So that's the calendar, and it has all kinds of Ceph meetings on it that are not internal to us. So yeah, check it out. Maybe there's other stuff you want to go to.
When's Ceph testing?
Did you guys have anything else for me? I have no idea
Zach, Last meeting I was asking about some instructions how to set up a tautology cluster with libcloud usage.
Oh yeah. I don't have anything for you today, but I'll take a look at that, and let's see. I'll try to have something for you next week or sooner.
Oh, okay. So, and I don't know if it supports right now different OpenStacks, but OVH.
Yeah. Well, let's see. It should. I didn't have access to any others to do any meaningful testing. We had some internal OpenStack setup that was just really quirky, and so I basically just had OVH because that was the only one that I had access to. In theory, it should work for other ones. I think there's a chance it might need some modification to support them because OpenStack deployments can have a lot of variance. But I think it's possible. I think it's worth trying.
Oh, okay. So then I'm just asking because I'm going to try it out on our OVH instance, and then if everything goes okay, I will try to to install it on OpenSUSE Cloud.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be worth trying. So the way this thing is written, you can configure multiple OpenStacks in the same deployment of tautology, and the way you distinguish between them is you give them each a different name, and that's what the machine type will be. So you could name it SUSE Cloud. You could name one that. You could name one OVH. Or you could have longer, more descriptive names. What they do is they key into the configuration that you've set, so it'll get like the tenant information and credentials and whatnot.
So you're saying that it supports multiple OpenStack instances at once from one source?
Yeah. Now you can't meaningfully run tests, at least easily, mixing nodes from different OpenStacks, right? But if all your tests are using the same machine type, then they'll all run in the same OpenStack, tenant and project and whatnot region as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think it's the thing that we actually wanted, and I'm just wondering if it's really working because probably I didn't invest enough time for understand how it works. But right now it's using different security groups, and I'm not sure that they're all available.
How do you mean?
It's only in our branch, and it's not in the upstream. Okay, there are actually restrictions for security groups. So when you deploy a tautology cluster on OVH, it creates security groups, which does not allow any traffic for target nodes outside of the security group. So that means that if you have tautology instance somewhere else, then tautology will not access to, SSH access to the target nodes. But again, it's probably a restriction of the all the code that the tautology is based on.
Yeah, it's something we'll have to take a look at because so we use the libcloud backend 24 hours a day. So it works for us, and if there are issues that prevent it from working for you, for example, we'll just have to get those fixed. I can't imagine they'll be very large.
Yeah. Okay.
So I will come up with something to get you started. The main thing you'll need is a machine or a VM that is dedicated to running Teuthology itself, and the other services. And then all the test nodes can be ephemeral. The libcloud backend does not currently have a way to bootstrap Teuthology inside an ephemeral node, like the OpenStack one does. It needs a permanent master, which I'd like to add that feature to it, but it just doesn't have it right now.
So you mean deployment of Teuthology itself on OVH with like it does the Teuthology OpenStack CLI?
Right. Yeah. We don't have that. So you need to create a VM, a relatively powerful one, and that's where Teuthology and I guess Paddles and Pulpito could probably all be deployed on the same node.
By the way, how do you do the deployment of your test environment for Teuthology?
Well,
do you have some Ansible scripts?
I do have some Ansible. It might be outdated because this has been a very, very long running deployment, so we haven't had a need to keep the Ansible squeaky clean. But that's something I should look at too. Refreshing that Ansible.
Yeah, it would be also interesting for me just because probably we can extend this Ansible script for our needs.
Yeah. So I can tell you where it is.
And we've been talking with Nathan about switching Teuthology OpenStack itself to use Ansible for deployment Teuthology instead of this Teuthology OpenStack shell script.
That's interesting. I think that would be really cool. So here is the Teuthology role. There's a separate Paddles role and a separate Pulpito role. Again, these might be a bit out of date. I'm not sure. But they should at least be close to working, or maybe they just fully work. I just can't tell you because I haven't deployed Teuthology in so long. But yeah, this is where it starts. And I think, the idea of using this instead of shell scripts is a great one. So feel free to give that a shot.
What about supporting of 2.5 Ansible? Have you tried it? Just because the 2.5 supports Python 3.
Well, like I said, I haven't run this in a long time, so I certainly haven't run it with Ansible 2.5. That said, it might work with 2.5, but it might need some forward porting from 2.4. I'm just not sure off the top of my head.
Okay.
Is Kira, you said that Nathan is back in the pack?
Not yet, and I don't know when.
By the way, we haven't met. I'm Yuri, and I'm working for Red Hat. And I assume sounds like you're with SUSE and using Teuthology.
Yeah, they have a fork, and we're going to try and get them back on master.
Kira, just like I wondered, are you aware of Ceph IRC channel?
Yeah, I think yes.
Because whatever you're doing, I think at least it would be interesting to me, to see, and maybe you'll get some support. If you have any issues, ongoing issues, it would be cool if you just raise them there.
Do you mean Sepia chat?
Yeah, # sepia on IRC.
Yeah, I saw you there. I actually, the guy who posted the PR, and you probably.
Well, maybe I was too talkative. What is your nick?
It's complicated. It's KYR. Kir.
I don't see you.
Yeah, but yeah, I just used my
KYR. Okay, I got this.
GitHub login. It's KSHDSK.
Yeah, you guys like everybody in SUSE is like, if it's Nathan, it's Smith Farm. If it's Abby, it's the analyst. You know, you kind of like, you're like really like hidden.
And I just use my first name.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah, it's very, very strange. I usually use KYR login, but it's not possible to use it with GitHub because it's already taken.
And you are in Europe somewhere as well?
Yeah, I'm just in Deutschland.
Okay.
So what are your working hours?
I'm a test engineer on Ceph Upstream, so I'm a heavy user of Tautology. So probably not the good one in terms of like, talking about, insights of Python code, but in terms of features and how to utilize Tautology, and I use it on a daily basis.
Yeah, Yuri basically he runs almost all of the automated testing that we have upstream. He's kind of the one that watches it constantly and schedules it and decides what to run for the most part.
Okay, and do you know who is testing Tautology itself? And who deploys new version of Tautology to Ceph infrastructure?
I know how it happens. I mean, on high level, we actually have, so Sepia Lab has a big ass cron tab amount of jobs, and it's actually in GitHub right now. I can point you to it.
Well, he's asking about testing Tautology itself. The answer to that is
we don't do it.
Well, it's whoever's making changes.
Anyway, even if we do not test, so that someone who deploys new version of Tautology with patches, how does it happen? So did anyone inspect the code or tries to install Tautology on some separate VM before deploying it to production?
Yeah, that happens. So all right, so the way deployment works on an existing, okay, once you have an existing deployment, Tautology, and this is going to sound scary because it is, it's basically a continuous deployment. It constantly updates itself from master, so that's why we are extremely careful about what goes into master.
Yeah, okay.
But we also have, I think, a way.
This is part of why the workflow sucks. Is that we can't let any major bugs into master. So reviews have to be really thorough, and yeah, it's not a whole lot of fun. An idea that I've had in the past that I still think is a decent one is if we had two different branches. So if we had a develop branch and a master branch, and then PRs get merged into say develop, and then every so often we merge that one into master, and that's what gets deployed. So we have kind of at least a two-phase approach, but right now we just have master.
And do you update regularly only Tautology? What about pedals and pulpito?
Those get changed much less. So those are basically in the deployments that I've set up. Those deploys get updated manually, not as opposed to Teuthology. I don't have a continuous deployment set up for those, mostly because they just don't change very often. So it's been easy to just go in there and pull from the repo, restart the services.
Yeah, well, one of the issue that I'm working on is I'm trying to work on is that if we schedule some tautology jobs simultaneously, let's say for the same branch, then the jobs are mixed up within them too, and like separating them at the same timestamp, it's not enough. So one of the features that I wanted to see is that to have custom job name, for example.
Wait, you're saying that you're scheduling jobs quickly enough that you're getting runs with basically the same name?
Right. For example, we have different levels of staging of our own RPMs, and they are, for example, both of a target target branch is the same. Also, it may happen if we are configuring GitHub PRs and someone is trying to merge at the same time different PRs, but the target branch is the same and the same suite it's running. Then it makes it crazy, and the jobs actually mixed in with the same run. So
that I have never seen. Wow.
That's something interesting. You're doing something really cool.
Yeah. Could you? Is there any information that you could give me, like, so that I can look at this at all? It's just really surprising.
I have a patch. I have a patch on our branch, like adding a new parameter for tautology suite, like -- name, that will replace with custom job number. But it appears that Paddles has a design issue that it decides it bound on the job name format. It passes job name to detect the timestamps, which is weird.
No, that name is significant. Right
so now. But it just only some errors in Paddles, but everything works well, rather than it doesn't displays correctly the timestamps, or just name the owner in the pulpit. But in general, the Paddle shouldn't do this. It should take all these parameters based on the job job meta that is posted with
I agree with you, definitely.
So this is one of the things that I wish to fix in Paddles. And anyway,
just quick comment, like custom job names and custom run names. This is like long time dream of mine. because right now we well, I mean, once you kind of run that stuff a couple of million times, you get used to like whatever timestamp, URLs, etc. And we haven't seen the issue you described. Maybe because you have multiple people hitting pulpito and puddles and pathologies at the same time. But generally, just one thing, and I actually surprised that we don't hear from downstream folks screaming for like job/test case ID, because it's very important. But the way that we address it right now, like when I think of a job, I think of the description is equal to job ID, and description is actually unique. So that's the issue on the job level. On the run level, you can imagine that when I run, and I work with Abby and Nathan, quite heavily for point releases. When we run that for point releases, there is no way for me to like look at the like several runs and identify which one is, on release candidate, which is not. So it doesn't exist. So that would be really cool. And one thing I wanted to comment before we run out of time, that like testing pathology, back to your comment about testing pathology. If you, for example, have a PR in pathology that you believe need to be tested in Sepia, we can probably easy to either run like several suites against that particular PR, assuming that it's possible. There's sometimes I think it's not possible, or we can actually switch it to like several cron tab jobs in nightlies and like watch it for several days to make sure that it actually does what we expect, to kind of build our confidence level before we merge.
My understanding for when you test Teuthology before you merge it is you run a Teuthology suite with that version of Teuthology switched over. Is it like -T Teuthology version or something? I think I've done that 1 or 2 times.
That is correct, but I think there are some edge cases that probably would not like answer 100% that that's proper test.
Yeah, so for example, if you're changing the workers, if you're changing Teuthology suite itself, there's a few components that would never be hit just by actually running some tests. So it's just in general, it's important to make sure that you find a way to exercise the code paths that you're actually changing, and maybe the other ones too.
So for my understanding, what I was thinking about is to have a job somewhere in, I don't know, Jenkins, to schedule a deployment of Teuthology somewhere to OVH. I mean, real setup and running some dummy or very quick tasks. So we can see if everything, if it's deployed and run tests at least.
Yeah, I think something like that would be a really good start.
So respondingly, we need to find the resources for doing this.
Yeah.
What you think? I will talk with Dennis when he'll be back from vacation regarding all this stuff, if we can find something. But it's good question to you if we can use some facilities from your OVH instance, or is it possible, or you some Jenkins somewhere?
So, well, let's see. I don't think I can promise that without checking with at least a person or two, but I think that we'd be able to do that, and I'll ask the people I would need to ask.
So we actually have an instance in OVH, instance of Jenkins that we use for downstream PR testing for Ceph.
Yeah.
Like run make check, and I can also set up a job for testing Teuthology upstream, but I need obviously a user to access to PRs.
I'm sorry, you need what?
So in order to integrate with PRs to tautology, so I need a user who has access to push,
Oh, right. Yeah. I can take a look at that.
Or I don't know if it's, this is for passive pull request plugin for active. I guess it's probably enough for someone who has admin rights to add our Jenkins to the pull request as well.
Yeah, I think we ought to be able to do that. Write this down. Yeah, that's not a bad idea too. But you don't currently have a Jenkins job that would do this, do you?
No, but I was going to create one before Nathan disappeared. We discussed them about making some testing of our own downstream Jenkins.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So since we are still using tautology OpenStack and we patched it to be possible to run in OVH on the single region, multiple instances, so we are able to instantiate how many we want tautology instances and run any tests on it.
Pretty cool. Well, let's see.
Yeah, but and as soon as I'm able to start using the libcloud based instances and able to deploy it automatically to any cloud, I'll probably add this as well.
Okay. Yeah. So that reminds me. Back to where we started. Whenever you get a chance, I'd love to see some pull requests for your changes to the OpenStack backend, because I think we should try and get you merged into master. I think it'll make a lot of the other things that we're talking about easier to collaborate on.
Yeah. So, yeah, it seems like we are out of time, right?
Yeah, we're a little over. So, yeah, I've got some action items. Hopefully, I can get them done before next Wednesday. Yeah. So, anybody have anything else?
Nope. Okay. Good to meet you guys.
Me too.
All right, guys. Thanks. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, Ali. Quick question. I'm actually have another meeting right now, but I hope it's not going to take like. You still on RGW team, right?
Yeah.
Listen, quick idea, and I discussed it with Josh a little, and just I think I saw a couple of PRs from you yesterday, and I decided to check with you. So I'm working on some like upgrade tests, and in particular, like we actually missed one bug that was caught by downstream folks, and it was in point-to-point release. So I want to spend a little bit more time actually doing more thorough job on mimic point-to-point. So essentially, I want to do every point. I don't want to do like decision making, like I will skip that point and I will skip that point. I want to actually build for every point release. I want to build upgrade scenario. The issue that I'm having with that is that when I actually run workloads, and I'm talking about, typically we run Raiders, RGW, and RBD.
Yeah.
When I load them all, it's just like hours of runs. And I checked with Josh, and I think on Raiders it's not a big deal. I can just specify for bench range, bench something like time of minutes to run, so I can say 5 minutes. So I wonder if similar scenario can be done for RGW type of workloads.
Okay. When you say workloads, which YAML file, like which suites within the RGW?
I can give you. Let's say I can give you an example.
Yeah. If you've got to get going, if you just shoot me this information in an email.
Sure. I will point you to the like examples to suite, but the idea is general. So idea is general. When you think about it, when we run upgrades. So let's say we run RGW suite, and I understand that you guys might want to do in depth, zillions of scenarios, etc.
Yeah.
When you run upgrades, the question is, do we really want to do that exhaustive type of testing? Or essentially what we want to do, we want to upgrade it from one version to another and just kind of, hit very few of them. And if we can do that and we can cut down on runtime, that's significant because, we can actually run more tests and we actually do more cycles as opposed to sit and run particular workloads that already been tested by major suite itself. So that's an idea.
But so when you say upgrade tests, you mean a test, like a run of tests where you start with, say, Lumina or Mimic, whatever, 13 or 14.1, and then in that suite, the cluster gets upgraded to 14.2, and then you run all the stuff, right?
Yeah, typically what we do, you can take any example of upgrades, right? Say, I gave you example about point to point, which is point to point. Right now, it would be Luminous only. So Luminous point one release to another one. If you look at suites like say Luminous X, so you run Luminous and then you upgrade it to Mimic, for example, or to Master. So when you install Luminous, we would actually run almost complete set of workloads on that. And then we upgrade to Mimic and we run same set of workloads on that. But the time wise, we run entire workloads, and I wonder if we can change that, or maybe we can either you might have some parameters in your workloads that allows me to specify on work branch for Raiders to specify time, or if it doesn't exist, you can either consider adding this functionality, or you can consider saying, okay, I'll give you a stripped down version of my whatever S3 tests. And if you call that instead of full workload, that'll address what you want. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. I see where you're coming from.
Are you the right guy, or am I hitting the right person?
Well, I don't think there's a specific right guy. I think it would be at least a group effort of 2 to 3 people to figure out what those slim down subset of tests between the upgrades would be and how to do that. But I think it would be a pretty good idea if can you come to the RGW stand-up, say on Friday?
Sure. What time is it?
So the RGW stand-up on Friday is 11:45 a.m. Eastern time, so 8:45 your time, or it would have happened 15 minutes ago.
Okay, why would you send me one invite and I'll try to make it?
Yeah, so I mean I would tell you to come tomorrow, but Casey, Matt, and Adam, and a bunch of other people are all at SA Summit.
Is he going to be back on Friday?
Yeah, he should be back on Friday.
Okay, it's not urgent, so it's not something that we drop dead doing right now. So let's try Friday. If not, I will try to come next time, whatever you feel it, and we can talk about it. And I want to do the same for RBD. And then if we can get it done, I think it'll be positive overall because it'll save us time.
Yeah.
And upgrades take literally 4 hours to run. And if we can make it like less, that would be really, really good.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the S3 testing. The intern I'm mentoring, she's about to put 2 more repos of S3 tests in 2 different languages, so that'll add some more time for you.
Who is she?
Her name is Antonietta. She's from Switzerland. She's just working for us for the summer.
She's okay, pretty cool. And I think that whatever we're discussing with you right now, I think it's a natural problem because I think that people they put tests and workloads in and we use them. And we kind of came to this realization right now, and right now is a little bit I wouldn't say slow, but people thinking about stuff retroactively because
right now is more of thinking time and less of doing time. You're right about that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about I talked to Josh and he kind of supported the idea. So I thought, hey, let's try to use the momentum and see what we can get from RGW and RBD guys. I'll do it.
Yeah, I would definitely bring it up in the stand-up. I'm sure we could do something. I couldn't tell you what specifically, but I'm sure we could do something.
Well, I have no doubts. Listen, I got to run.
Yeah, great talking with you.
Nice talking to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.